talk about brain development, most kids with complex trauma actually end up being developmentally much younger than their chronological age. So you may be working with a 12-year-old, but when you look at their developmental abilities, you're actually working with like about a 6, 7-year-old, and you have to treat them accordingly because that's how their brain is working. As a society, what should we be doing? So these are the policy recommendations from the ACEs study. And for those of you who either work in government or may advocate with government, this is something to think about. The things that ACEs recommend are home visiting with pregnant women and families with newborns to help them understand how to interact with the baby more. Nobody gives you a manual on parenting. And that's really important. I know there's a lot of different things going on right now to help pregnant women and to help moms. There's early intervention and things like that. We want to try to support these things. Parenting training programs, having more prevention programs for intimate partner violence, social support for parents so they don't feel so stigmatized bringing up when their kid does have issues and they don't know what to do about it. Parent support programs for teens and teen pregnancy prevention. Mental illness and substance abuse treatment. That's been brought up a couple times more today that we really need to try to amp up what we're doing. High quality childcare and sufficient income support for low income families. So those are the recommendations from the ACEs study. Okay. What can we do in our community or our workplace? Increase the knowledge of trauma. Training your staff in location where children is frequent. I hope I've at least taught you one thing today. If I have, that's great. And this is the kind of stuff you need to know if you're going to be working with children. I have a graphic up here that talks about trauma-informed care. This, as well as the sanctuary model, have been two different things that have been happening in the UK and in the US that have been coming in and helping people to learn how to deal with trauma in their workplaces and also to help them understand how to deal with children. That kind of stuff might be something you want to look into to have trainings for your workplace. And increase the ability for facilities to have trauma-informed treatment available. Behavior mod treatments are awesome. They're things that usually are recommended for kids who have behavioral issues, but they don't necessarily work for kids who have trauma history. It's better than nothing, but sometimes we're missing that key important piece of the trauma therapy, right? That should be going on with these kiddos, or that safe component that they need to feel. Obviously, if the people have to be able to do this in facilities. These things don't just happen, so people have to work collaboratively. Support community organizations that already do this work. We talked earlier about how some of them do, there is some work already being done. And consideration for trauma-informed parenting support for parents of small children or soon-to-be parents. Remember that the parents of the children also probably went through trauma, so this is an intergenerational thing. This is a short presentation on a huge topic, so I couldn't cover everything, but intergenerational trauma is very, very, very common. And that adult and that parent was also a child at some point that probably went through some trauma as well. So they may need to know, like, what is happening? Why am I like this? That type of thing. Okay. So this quote is up here. This is my last section. The expectation that we can be immersed in suffering and loss daily and not be touched by it is unrealistic as expecting to be able to walk through water without getting wet. Vicarious trauma, it's also known as secondary traumatic stress, burnout. All of these things have slightly different meanings, but not for this presentation today. You are going to get stressed working with kids who have been through trauma. They're not easy to work with. It's important that you realize that that's okay. And that it's okay to feel like you need support, because we tend to forget, and that could be some of the reasons that people start to get so exhausted and start to feel like, oh, my job, I just, and you want to work with kids and you want to help them, but it gets so exhausting. This exists for helping professionals. How do you treat this? Take care of yourself. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Find things that help you feel better. If you want to talk to any of the mental health professionals in the room about mindfulness, it's a whole other part that I'm not going to go into right now. Your support network at work is extremely important. Other people that you can kind of complain to at the end of the day, can you believe we had to do da-da-da-da-da? That's actually the best thing. The best thing with treating vicarious trauma or secondary traumatic stress is having a good support network at work. And no know that you're going to get really upset because little Johnny is going to do this later on today, have a plan so that somebody can help you with it. Thank you.
Get another round of applause. It's kind of ironic that when she was talking about stress, that she was the one who was having all the trouble with the videos. And also being in the slot right before your lunch. So well done, Dr. Brown. Just to let everyone know that we will be showing the videos at the end of the lunch break. So if you can come back in, I know you're not supposed to eat in front of the TV and all that kind of stuff, but if you want to come back in a few minutes early towards the end of the lunch break, we will be showing her videos, as well as one that was launched on World Mental Health Day last year about a new mindset as well. So that will be shown as you come back from lunch. So what an incredible morning we've had. Can I have a big round of applause for all of you? On the subject of food, we have pre-packed lunches which are available just outside the door, so you can grab a box. Lunch was very generously sponsored by Cayman National Bank, so a big thank you to CNB for keeping us supporting. If you take some time to visit some of our exhibitors, make sure you thank them as well for being here and for supporting the event. Again, we couldn't do it free of charge without their support, the sponsors and the exhibitors, so make sure you tell them thank you. And we are going to be back in here. Are we coming back at 1? Is that? Okay, so if you come back in here, let's aim to be back here in like 15 minutes for the videos, and then we'll move into the afternoon. We have a fantastic schedule this afternoon as well, so please enjoy your lunch. We'll see you back in here for